and still trying to get some more. He really. Ayo, who is that dude? Oh girl, that's just B-Eazy. Oh boy, that's just B-Eazy. Well, who is B-Eazy? Oh, you ain't know he been a pro, for show, all about the dough. He been running up them racks and still trying to get some more. He really one of them ones, his presence so pivotal. So hell yeah, he that dude, this is unequivocal. Ayo, who is that dude? Oh girl, that's just B-Eazy. Oh boy, that's just B-Eazy. Well, who is B-Eazy? Oh, you ain't know, he been a pro, for show, all about the dough. He been running up them racks and still trying to get some more. Don't care about the fame, just trying to gain and grow. He really one of them ones, his presence so pivotal. So hell yeah, he that dude, this is unequivocal. B-Eazy, 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 yeah.
Turn your radios up. Turn your radios up. Y'all know what this is. Y'all know who this is. B-Eazy Dat Dude, an impromptu stream back with another one. This one is gonna be a banger. Controversial, trending topic, so it will be a doozy. Now, I won't be here for a long time, but it will be a strong time. I don't like to keep y'all waiting. Before we get this thing started, you know, I gotta hit you.
If you know the song, sing along. Yeah, you're right.
私も地元民。と言っても実際
さすがにです。もう友達できたの？
うん。ぶったさんのこっち見ろ。
This promethazine got me leaning like a cholo in the club. I'm 20 deep. I don't be riding solo. Pull some bad bitches, they vanilla and cocoa. They wanna take some photos when we kick it out in Soho. Chicks is showing tits and popping pussy for my promo. Told them like juvenile, baby moving for me slow mo. Then I'm right back to the block, cause I keep getting moto. I be flipping, not shrinking. I don't give a fuck about no ho. This nigga name ain't D-Lo, but pimpin' these bitches and stacking this bread forever be my stilo. This is B-Eazy Dat Dude in the trap making pass smooth. If I ever go broke, then I'm about to pull a jack move. Since a nigga healthy, I don't even gotta worry. With my bitch from Fiji eating tandoori and chicken curry, that ism is really indie. My pimp game international. I design my own clothes, so I be always looking fashionable. Here's a couple facts about me that y'all didn't know. Some of y'all be getting bread, but I be getting bigger, dawg. I got bigger guns and a whole lot of bad.
And we are activated. And I've already been joined by an illustrious guest, FBA all day. There would be no USA without FBA. Shout out to Tutneys in the building. We getting right into this thing because I won't be here for a long time, but it will be a strong time. So unless you've been living under a rock, the U.S. is going in, meddling, doing all sorts of coup d'etats, helping to install puppet governments, destabilizing regions, destabilizing countries, right? All under the name of Make America Great Again. How was meddling in Cuba making America great again? How was kidnapping the Venezuelan president making America great again? And many brain dead MAGA morons, lefty and liberal lunatics are trying to justify it and somehow put forth a rationale that somehow this helps us. Yeah, it may help some multinational American companies, but that's just feeding the establishment, helping the oligarchy and the plutocracy. That's not helping the rank and file, the working class, the impoverished, right? The people who we should be helping first, right? Give us your sick, your tired, your poor. Does that mean go over there and run amok in Cuba, right? So Cuba is experiencing a nationwide blackout linked to a deepening energy crisis, which Cuban officials attribute largely to tightened U.S. fuel restrictions. There's an embargo. They're sanctioning oil. So they're trying to say, hey, we're not the world's police, but they're trying to police the country and say, hey, you can't buy that oil. And hey, sovereign nation, you can't sell to that country, which is why they call the president the leader of the free world. How is the world free if they got someone over here leading them and telling them what to do? You're free to wear a miniskirt. No, don't wear a miniskirt. Go put on some damn pants, huh? I thought I was free to wear whatever I wanted, right? This is why people like the late, great Nellie Fuller talks about America being an open air prison, right? And is a luxurious prison. So you get disillusioned that no, I'm not a prison. I have freedom. Okay. Do you have the freedom to say, hey, you know what? I'm retired. I got a lot of money. I love Russia. Let me go chill in Russia for like 3 months. I'll be back to America because I love my nation. Do you think you would just be free to do that? Yeah, sure. Maybe you can go to Russia for 3 months. You think when you come back after the 3-month vacation, staycation, whatever you want to call it, that you won't be addressed by one of these alphabet agencies? Even right now, you got the bigot Tucker Carlson saying that the CIA is threatening to trump up some charges on him for him going around talking to foreign diplomats or prominent public figures like Iran and Putin, right? But they let him interview Putin. They let the interview air, and now they're saying, maybe we should go see about Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, who was born with a silver spoon and his daddy was in the CIA. So I don't really know if he's at threat of being arrested. Maybe he was trying to preemptively get out there. But if Tucker gets arrested, who gives a fig? Because, bro, you voted for this. Isn't that what you guys always like to say? You deserve the outcomes you get because you voted for the Democrat establishment. Well, you voted for the orange man, not once, not twice, but 3 times to nominate him as the leader of the Republican Party. So now they're saying, this is not the Trump that I know. Yeah, it's the same dude. He's only appears worse and emboldened because guess who emboldened him? Many of you MAGA morons, many of the Latinos. I will vote for Donald Trump, right? So it's a multitude of groups saying, yes, right? We're going to vote for the orange man. Well, this is what you get. Fecklessness and incompetence. So what happened is on the 16th of March, Cuba's entire national electrical grid suffered a complete disconnection, or some would say a shutdown. They always try to soften the language. Oh, the power was disconnected. You mean the power was shut off, right? So this plunged roughly 10 to 12 million residents into darkness, right? These are the pro-life people. We care about life. Injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere, except if you're in Cuba, then we don't mind starving you and making you live in dark for an extended period. This was the 3rd major blackout in 4 months, highlighting severe strain on the country's aging infrastructure. Now, what they'll say is that, hey, look, we're doing this to punish the communist Cuban government, but the government isn't comprised of 11 million people. So they don't care if they harm civilians as long as they can take out a few at the top, right? Whose culture is this, right? They want you to worry about some musty, crusty, dusty nigga from Chicago doing a drive-by. They want you to worry about some dude from Oakland who stole a bag of potato chips, right? That's black culture. Okay, well, whose culture is this? Bombing people, installing puppet leaders, committing coup d'etats, U.S. imperialism, destabilizing countries, practicing all levels of warfare, economic warfare, spiritual warfare, chemical warfare. Whose culture is this? No one thinks some broke dude from St. Louis is engaging in chemical warfare, but guess who is? The U.S. Who's at the top, right? We have to blame who's at the top. So blame who's at the top and then let me know whose culture is this and who raised them, right? We know the kids from the hood was raised, what some would say, in a fatherless home, born in a disenfranchised area with dilapidated buildings. So while you would say, no, that's no excuse, but it is an explanation. What's the explanation for these genocidal warmongering maniacs in office, right? They were born not out of wedlock. They were born with a silver spoon, with two parents. They went to good schools and prestigious universities. And guess what? They're more violent. They're more maniacal. They're more sinister and insidious than any thug hanging out on a corner that you can think of. Whose culture is this? Right? So the U.S. has recently tightened restrictions on countries supplying oil to Cuba, warning tariffs or penalties. So not only do they have an embargo on Cuba, they said anybody that wants to sell to Cuba, we're going to put tariffs and penalties on you. Does this sound like a free world we're living in? Or does it sound like authoritarianism? The same authoritarianism when they say, but Kim Jong-un, he's an authoritarian. I mean, it sounds like something Kim Jong-un would do. But guess where it's been done at? From the U.S. Now, U.S. officials have not claimed responsibility for the blackout itself, and no evidence has been presented showing the direct U.S. operational involvement in the grid failure. Okay. That's the whole point of puppet leaders in coup d'etats. They're done deceitfully. They're done using deception. They're done using distractions, which is why I put in the title, Weapons of Mass Distraction. Now, with this mass distraction, people are almost forgetting that there's another war going on in Iran. And guess what? People are not talking about the pedophiles as much. That pedo ring was the most notorious in U.S. history and probably in global history that has been documented. And we know the elite players who were involved, but yet is being swept under the rug for another mass distraction, right? So I'm going to get in and I'm going to break down some of these videos and we'll get into it. This was just a preface to the discussion. Now, I won't be here for a long time, but it will be a strong time. So give me uno momento. I'm going to pull this video up real quick. Bam.
Tonight, Cuba is in the dark. The entire electrical grid collapsing today as the country struggles with an energy crisis, leaving millions on the island without power. During this latest blackout, people have been spilling out to the streets here for hours. Fortunately, some cloud cover to keep them from this blistering heat. It's been 3 months since a drop of oil has reached the country. Highways are empty because there's no gas. Women are delivering babies in dark hospitals with no electricity. Conditions are deteriorating. I sat down exclusively with Deputy Prime Minister Oscar Perez Oliva Fraga, considered by many to be Cuba's economic czar. His plan to attract more foreign investors, including large companies from the United States.
Okay, so I'm going to get to the comments. So it looks like we've been joined by an illustrious guest, Sincere Saida, in the building. She said, dude is a dictator and he wants to control all nations. Yes, he is a dictator. Now, he did say he was going to be a dictator before a day, And many people still said, I will vote for Donald Trump. So he did say he was going to be a dictator, but he said he was going to be a dictator for only a day, where 24 hours has passed. But guess what? They say the orange man bad. Well, the orange man is a liar. He's always been lying to you. But what does that make you for believing a liar? Maybe gullible, naive, incompetent, idiotic, retarded. Oh, my bad. I forgot you're not supposed to say that, right? But she says it's the illusion of freedom, like the cows on slaughter farms. Correct. Like George Carlin said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. So people think because they put on a MAGA hat or they scream vote blue no matter who, or put on a I voted sticker, that you're part of the club. You're not part of the club, right? They don't give a fig about you. They are beholden to their donors, right? If you donate to a campaign and you say, I donated $200 or maybe $200 or $2,000, right? But you have people donating $200 million, right? Who do you think they're going to be beholden to? Someone that gave them 2,000 or 200, or someone that gave them $200 million? What does that buy you, right? To have a president in your back pocket? For some, that would be a good investment. Trump has always been a dick. He just pulled the wool over so many gullible people. I would concur with this Ginger Dan. Salute to Ginger Dan. Yeah. But I have to start questioning people's IQs, right? Because this is a stick that people like to talk about. Sub-Saharan IQs and the bell curve and all this stuff. Okay, fine. Who's running the country? The country has been run by the dominant society full of alleged high IQs. Is this the best the high IQs have to offer? Donald Trump, no one looks at him and thinks that he's scholarly. No one looks at him and think that he's just flowing and brimming with intellect and eloquence. People will say, oh, he's funny, or he says the things that he says the quiet part out loud. Okay, I can give him credit for that, but that no credit to his mental capacity. And shout out to Ginger. He says it's all, I'm assuming this is a he. Don't want to mess up your pronoun, Ginger Dan. But it's all smoke and mirrors, distract against the real issues. And this is why I call it weapons of mass distraction, right? People still can't afford homes. Interest rates are still going up. Gas is skyrocketing. You can't afford health insurance. You can't afford to put your kid through college. But yet we should be worried about Cuba, taking over Cuba. We should be worried about sending our American sons and daughters to go fight for Israel. Trump is not going to send Barron Trump. Elon Musk kids are not going to go fight for Israel. Jeff Bezos, Michael Bloomberg, Miriam Adelson, none of these people's kids are going to go fight for Israel. When they go destabilize and colonize these other countries, whose kids do you think they're going to send over there? Definitely won't be any of these elite. Let's get back into it.
He says Cuba is open to having a fluid commercial relationship with U.S. companies, with Cubans residing in the United States and their descendants. This person tells me it would be a breath of fresh air. And while there are people in the United States who legally do business with Cuba, Washington's trade embargo restricts many companies from doing authorized business there. Today, President Trump was asked about taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba, I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it.
What a relationship would look like, though.
Whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. Okay, fine, right? Let's just say he can. He can free Cuba, he can take it, he can do anything that he wants with it. But what if someone said that about the U.S., right? I could free the U.S. from an authoritarian dictator, and I can do anything that I want with it. They would say, you hate America, right? But no one is saying that Trump hates Cuba. They're presenting him as if he's going to go liberate Cuba, right? Liberate Cuba from what? From communism, right? Because they want to frame communism as so bad, right? But the people over there in the Middle East, right? Let's just say the Israelis, right? Is Israel a communist state? No. Is Israel a socialist state? No. People would say that it's a mixed economy, but if you ask them, they will probably call it a capitalist nation. Okay, fine. Israel is a capitalist nation who's presiding over a genocide right now. Tell me the communist nation that is committing a genocide on another country right now. You can say that, hey, they're big bad meanies. They're repressing their people. The U.S. is repressing its own people, right? The U.S. is mass incarcerating its own people. So I really don't want to hear about this repression rhetoric.
Remains to be seen, particularly since Congress has to vote, and many in Congress are skeptical.
I would ask and advise any Cuban that lives here or any Cuban in exile, please don't invest in Cuba. You're wasting your time.
Today, Cuban-American activists in Miami came together to send a message.
If we don't have any change in political rights, if we don't have any political guarantees, there's no economic change that's possible.
Freedom is to be able to choose your destiny. It's about Cuban sovereignty, not about business.
And tonight, those Cubans plunged into darkness will come here along Havana's iconic seawall to not only cool off, but escape the reality of the situation. Hallie?
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top.
And mind you, many of the Cubans, especially the Florida ones, I will vote for Donald Trump. So many of them voted for this, and they thought that some of them actually wanted this, right? Because this is why they fled their country. Many of them are sellouts. They didn't fight in their country. They said, oh, our country is so bad. Okay, well, why didn't you stay there to change the conditions? Instead, you ran over here to white mommy and daddy and said, please go destabilize our country, our home country that we're flying the flag for. Many of these countries want to be colonized. It's called buck breaking. Most of the times it's done violently, viciously, and physically. But the most important aspect of buck breaking is the psychological turmoil that is put on the subjects. So much that you don't even have to get physical, that they voluntarily pull down their pants and spread their cheeks and say, hey, buck break me, please. And you don't even have to use any lube. That's what many of these countries do. It's not just Latin America, it's in the Middle East, it's in Africa, because the U.S. has worked to destabilize these countries and ensure that they don't have a strong man and they don't have an authoritarian figure that will stand on business for the betterment of their country, right? So the U.S. is pretending as if, hey, we're there to liberate these people. But no, they're over there for investments and to commit these proxy wars against other countries. That's all this is about. Now, let me react to this video from the mainstream lamestream media. You can watch this video uninterrupted at the Hill channel. This video is titled, Trump says he'll have the honor of taking Cuba amid island turmoil. So y'all I played it out of the horse's mouth. Trump says he wants to take Cuba. So let's see what this discourse is about.
And all my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor. Whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation right now.
That comes as the Trump administration has blocked the flow of oil into the country, which is now experiencing an island-wide blackout and civil unrest. You might remember over the weekend, protesters set the Communist Party headquarters on fire in the city of Morón.
Meanwhile, the administration continues negotiations with Cuba's leadership over the country's future. According to the New York Times, the Trump administration is seeking to push Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel from power, according to 4 people familiar with the talks. Those 4 went on telling the Times U.S. negotiators also want Cuba to agree to remove from power some older officials who remained committed to the ideas of Fidel Castro, and the Americans are pushing for the release of political prisoners, a longstanding policy goal of the United States. From the perspective.
So they want to remove Cubans from power in Cuba who have, let's just say, sympathetic sentiments for Fidel Castro, right? But he doesn't want to remove U.S. officials who praise slave owners and Confederate traitors, right? These people are not supposed to praise whoever their hero is. You can say, okay, he's their hero, but he did something bad, right? Every person that's revered as a U.S. Hero who is of the Anglo or Caucasoid race, they all have some dirt on their name. And we're told to get over the dirt, right? Their legacy was bigger than the dirt that they did. Who cares if Thomas Jefferson was a pedo, right? Don't reduce his life to just being a pedo who enslaved people, right? He did great things, right? Well, I'm sure Fidel Castro did great things as well for his people. But no, we have to demonize him as just this communist dictator who was the worst scum of the earth, right? But Fidel Castro didn't go around dropping atomic bombs on anyone. So who was really worse?
Of U.S. officials, the talks are focused on having Cuba gradually open its economy to American business people and companies while getting a few symbolic political wins for Trump to announce. But administration officials say that can't happen without the removal of President Diaz-Canel. Notably, negotiators are reportedly not pushing for any action against Castro family members.
And I have to give a shout out to the hardest working mod on YouTube, Vibrant Law, in building.
Trump's comments in the Oval Office sparked some pushback online. Former Obama advisor David Axelrod writing on X.
There's a contract most retail traders have never heard of. It's called XSP. It's not.
I can just take it. My goodness, he sounds less and less like an American president. And journalist Michael Tracy going further in his own post, he's currently on a megalomaniacal global spanning mission to seize whatever territory he can. That's fundamentally what's going on here, unless you think Israel is, quote, tricking him into this Cuba thing too.
But many on the right applauded the President, Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez, writing, "I am the only member of Congress born in Cuba, and I fully support President Trump's actions against the regime in Havana. Would absolutely be a great honor for the president to take the island and also to liberate it." Well,
so that's what they love to do, get a token and say, hey, I'm from Cuba. You're not in Cuba right now, so you being from Cuba doesn't matter. So they like to get these Cubanos who immigrated, who fled their homeland to come to America and say, hey, I'm a white Cuban and I approve of what Trump is doing, because there's no race called Cuban. So when you look at the majority of the Cubans, especially in Florida, many of them are Caucasian, going under the guise of Hispanic, Latino to pretend as if they're not white people. All they are white people who speak Spanish, a different ethnicity within the white race, right? So when they're over there saying, yes, yes, go liberate our people, what they're saying is, hey, make Cuba lighter, brighter, and whiter. That's all they're saying. There's plenty of melanated Afro-Cubans over there, but they're never represented. They're always marginalized. And when the white people come over, right, they'll marginalize a black Cuban who speaks the language and knows the history for some white Anglo or a white anyone that comes over there and says, I will be your liberator. Then people, unfortunately, the ones in power, bend the knee, bend over, and spread cheeks. It's unfortunate, right? Because Cuba is a beautiful place with beautiful people, a rich history, and a rich culture. But unfortunately, too many people are willing to sell out to be assimilated and adopted into white supremacy. But they still don't see you as one of them. They use you as a tool to increase the white birth rates and the white numbers, but ultimately they don't see you're not Anglo, you're not a heritage American. You can't immigrate into a lineage, right? You could assimilate and cosplay a lineage, but you can't immigrate into one. So the I will vote for Donald Trump the Cubans, this is why they voted for Trump, because they want Trump to go over there, smack up their homeland, and make it more whiter.
The goals sound admirable to me. The freeing of political prisoners. I don't think you're against that, Lindsay. The opening of Cuba to American business and commerce and trade and engagement. That all sounds wonderful. They should not toil under a communist dictatorship. Now, I don't know that it's our job.
He said they shouldn't toil under a communist dictatorship, but right now we're living under a capitalist dictatorship. So this is what they want to try to do and frame. Oh, look, dictatorship is so bad, but it's good when Americans do it because, hey, this is a capitalist dictatorship. And they frame it as if it's not a dictatorship while doing dictatorial things, right? If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's not a giraffe.
To go in there and liberate them, let alone to take it. They didn't love Trump referring to the nation as wicked. The government is wicked. The people are not wicked. The island is very lovely, I'm sure.
So now he's saying that Cuba's government is wicked, but he won't say that the U.S. government is wicked. The same U.S. government that are intentionally going around causing these wars and doing policy that doesn't help the American people. He doesn't consider that wicked, but he considers Cuba doing communism. Somehow that's so wicked. Like, people got to stop with this pretending. Let me pull this up, man, because like I said, I won't be here for a long time, but it will be a strong time. We gotta hit y'all with some scholarship because people just like to throw out those terms. They say it was Zoran Mamdani. He's a commie. He's a socialist. Do you know the definition of socialism? And do you know the definition of communism? They're two different words, which means they have two different definitions, two different ideologies. So they have two different cultural practices and edicts, right? Now, there may be some similarities, but it's not the same. So let me just pull this back up real quick before I get into the video. Give me uno momento and bam, right here on the screen. Because people like to just throw out these words and they really don't even know. People say, I'm a capitalist, but you don't have any capital, right? So say you're an aspiring capital, right? Capitalism emphasizes private ownership and market-driven economies, while communism prioritizes collective ownership and state-controlled distribution, right? Capitalism is an economic system where individuals and businesses privately own the means of productions, such as factories, land, capital, and make economic decisions based on market forces and profit motives. So when you're making decisions based on profit motives, you really don't care about your neighbor. You don't care about anyone. You don't care about who it hurts because your motive is profit, not people. It encourages competition, innovation, and individual economic freedom, allowing people to choose occupations, invest, and trade freely. The government's role is generally limited to protecting property rights and ensuring fair competition through some capitalist systems, right? But the government picks its winners and losers and then tells you that these people pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. The government picked Mark Zuckerberg. The government picked Elon Musk. The government picked Jeff Bezos. So they want you to believe they were just making it in their garage, right? It's a lot of people that have made inventions in their garage, but they didn't get hundreds of millions backing from the government. The same government that they tell you to stop begging and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's not what Elon Musk did. The dude was born with a silver spoon, and some said he was born with inheriting an emerald mine, right? So even all the people who say, yeah, I was working so hard in my dorm room and this was just about hard work. If it was just about hard work, why'd you need the government? And then if you needed the government, how are you telling some poor kid from the hood that he doesn't need the government? You, as a person who grew up with mommy and daddy with a silver spoon, you went to the government for goodies, giveaways, and guarantees. Now you're tearing the poor dude who just wants to turn his life around Stop begging the government. That ain't what you did. You begged the government to the tune of millions and billions, right? I'm just saying, hey, bro, let me hold a cool 10,000, right? 20,000. I'll get my life started with that. Shut up, nigger. Stop begging, right? That's what it's turned into. You asking the government for something is communism. But when Elon Musk get billions from the government, it's not communism. He's just trying to innovate. I'm sure I could innovate a lot of stuff if they threw me money. The same thing that they do with these immigrants. They come over here. They have an Office of New Americans. They give them loans, the loans that they deny to the native population, and say, hey, look, they just start more businesses. Yeah. Of course, if they're eligible for refugee programs, resettlement programs, new American programs, y'all can all Google this stuff. Or if I come back later and I have the time, I'll pull it up for you, right? No one is coming over here to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. The stories don't even align up, right? I came over here with $2 in my pocket. Okay, how the hell did you get here with $2, right? Oh, there was an NGO who flew me here. How much did that plane ticket cost, right? So they're not even counting the cost of the NGO that flew them here for free. Think of this as an American citizen born and raised in America. It doesn't matter what state you're in. If you're in Utah, if you're in California, if you're in Arizona, and you got $2 in your pocket and you say, you know what, I want to move across the country seeking a better life, seeking a better opportunity. People will say, man, you a zip damn fool trying to move across the country with only $2 in your pocket. But with us, we encourage people. Bringers, you're sick, you're tired, you're poor. Who cares if you allegedly only got 50 cents in your pocket? Come over here. Okay, fine. You came over here with 50 cents in your pocket, but you also brought 3 kids. How the hell did you get here with 3 kids and 50 cents in your pocket? Okay, now you're here with 3 kids and 50 cents in your pocket, right? Now, how did you get housing? How did your kid get in school? How did you get a stroller and all this stuff? You're not supposed to ask any of these things, right? What is capitalist about that, right? That's not capitalism. Someone coming over here with $2 and then being given things. That sounds more like communism than anything. There's nothing capitalist about crossing the border illegally and then saying, hey, I fear for my life. Okay, fine. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? But no, that's not what's happening. So we don't even really live in a capitalist nation. It's more of a hybrid type system that does have some elements of capitalism. That is the predominant sentiment. But no, this isn't a true capitalist system. But communism, in contrast, is a socio-economic ideology aiming for a classless society where the means of productions are collectively owned by the state or the community. Now, they want to frame this as being so horrible. Oh my God. You don't want to turn into this socialist nation where there's bread lines. Okay, why are you talking about socialism when we're talking about communism? Socialism is a separate discussion. You can say that there's similarities and overlap, but it's separate. It's not the same. So let's just focus on communism, right? Economic decisions are centrally planned and resources are distributed according to need rather than profit, right? If someone is poor, then we're going to uplift that poor person. We're not going to say, hey, you're poor. So what, nigger? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and here, let's give more money to the people who are already enriched. Let's give more money. This school, this high school looks like a college, but let's give more money to the college looking high school versus the dilapidated school in the black neighborhood, right? Communism is need based, right? If you see a kid who's fat and has already eaten 3 pizzas, capitalism will say, hey, well, the market dictates that I give this fat kid another pizza, but you got a malnourished kid over there who haven't eaten in weeks. Why won't you give that kid the pizza? There's no such thing as a handout. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Meanwhile, the billionaires get more than just a free lunch. They're getting free lunch, free flights, free healthcare, free money that they tell you to not ask for. So the goal is to eliminate social classes and reduce inequality, with the government playing a central role in managing production and distribution. So in capitalism, wealth distribution is unevenly distributed. So all the people that like to talk about reverse racism and fairness and all this stuff, there's nothing fair about capitalism. Capitalism is inherently unfair and uneven. That's the whole point of it. Will some people be allowed to thrive? But yes, it's only letting some people to thrive to point to them as a token, as a symbolic gesture that, hey, look, you can do it too. You can be just like them, when in reality, most likely you can't. It's designed for you to have someone to step on. That's what capitalism is about, right? And it's okay if you want unequal outcomes. Just stop pretending that you want equality. You don't, right? So capitalism advantages, it encourages innovation and entrepreneurship. It promotes economic growth. It provides individual freedom to pursue wealth and opportunities. The disadvantages are it can create significant income inequality, risk of monopolies without regulation, as you see right now with the companies. I believe it's like 5 companies that own all of media. But people will champion that on because, hey, this capitalism, I don't want to live under a socialist society, right? Israel has free universal health care. Is Israel a socialist society? Israel has free college for their citizens. Is it a socialist utopia? All of these things that were proposed here, but they didn't want niggas to go to school free, and they didn't want niggas to have better health outcomes. So it was the shoot off your nose to spite your face type of mentality, right? Social safety nets may be limited, right? But guess what? Social safety nets are not limited. The ones to the oligarchs, the ones who always have their hand out. They tell you to not ask the government for anything, and then they go and ask for goodies, giveaways, and guarantees. And they always get it in the name of they're creating jobs. They're creating jobs to hire H-1B visas, foreign people, and undocumented people crossing the border so that they can stagnate the wages and undercut the native population, right? But hey, they're creating jobs. Yeah, but who are those jobs going to? So communism advantages, it aims to eliminate poverty and social inequality. It ensures basic needs, access to basic needs for all citizens. It promotes collective welfare over individual profit. So it's this is a country. We are a team. We're all going to shine together, versus capitalism is like, yeah, y'all niggas are not like me. Y'all can't shine. And I'm just going to be the shining star on the hill looking down at y'all. Communism disadvantages can lead to economic inefficiency, lack of innovation. This is not really clear. This is just a prediction. It could go either way. It can lead to lack of any innovation, or it can lead to a boon of innovation, right? This is not set in stone. It limits individual economic freedom, historically associated with authoritarian governance in some implementations. It's funny because they call communism associated with authoritarian governance when you see in real time Trump, who's a capitalist, doing authoritarian governance. And I'm not telling you one way to choose to be a capitalist or a communist. I don't align with either of these labels. I think there should be a new paradigm and a new system. It may have an amalgamation of various aspects of multiple systems, i.e. capitalism, socialism, communism, etc. But it should be a completely new system with a completely new name. We already have a hybrid system, so it should be called something else rather than capitalism. But they fixate on capitalism because they do like the inequality and uneven distribution. That's what they want. So let's get back into the video. To pretend as if Make America Great Again is about equalizing things for people, that's quite laughable. But let's get back into it.
I've been before. It is very lovely.
Yes, it would be great if it was not in the throes of communism. And so what can we do to encourage there to not be communism there? I'm interested to listen and find out. I don't know, again.
So it looks like we've been joined by some illustrious guests. Roger Meadows, Nassau County, but where Brooklyn at? Big Rig Slaps, the big block boat rider, and a Bay in building.
Another undeclared, unvoted on regime change war. Seems like a
we're gonna sound like beating a dead horse with the America First abandonment that President Trump has done. So I'm not gonna go down that route. Everybody understands that going yet again, the Americas. Going in yet again another country that's not United States of America is not the America First that Marjorie Taylor Greene was looking for and other MAGA members. I don't know if she got exiled, but because of the U.S. decisions.
So Roger says, yep, and socialism is when workers have a cooperative ownership and control over the economy, owning companies, supply chains, productions, distributions, and manufacturing. Somehow that sounds bad, right? They don't want the people to own anything. So they think that it's bad for a collective community to own the means of production. That's bad. The country will go to crap with that, right? But somehow they think Elon Musk owning Tesla and owning SpaceX and owning all these data centers that are being put in black neighborhoods to poison them. Somehow that's a good thing. Somehow that's actually better than communism. Okay.
To block oil into Cuba, we have created complete havoc in the country. People have not been able to go to hospitals. They have had to postpone procedures. Obviously, as you saw the video, there's no lights or electricity at this point. There's a humanitarian crisis going on. Think about
Walter, if you're going to leave comments like this, elaborate when you say, oh, sure, the government has been doing such a good job so far. Okay, so has the private sector been doing such a good job so far? If they were doing such a good job, why would people be complaining, right? The country is being run by oligarchs and plutocrats. And look at the price of gas, right? Look at the price of housing. So what exactly are you even advocating for, Walter? It sounds like you're a capitalist. Do you even have capital, right? What exactly are you advocating for? Elaborate. He says capitalism, only the strongest survive with a little bit of government help. No, it's a lot of bit of government help. Billions and billions is not a little bit of government help, but yeah, it is only the strongest survive. And then when they look around and it's only the strongest, guess what? Only the strongest will compete against the strongest to see who is the strongest, because they won't have any little guy to step on anymore.
about no lights, you can't feed your family, can't really cook. Like, we've created this dramatic situation for them. So the same people that we want to liberate are now in dire circumstances for months because of decisions that the U.S. made with no real plan.
Well, when the people hear democratic socialism, they tune out the democratic and they fixate on socialism. So, and then when they say socialism, they immediately say socialist commie, like, bruh, socialism and communism is not the same thing. But yes, these are like buzzwords and bumper stickers that are kind of taboo. Socialism, communism, Marxism. As soon as people hear those words, they start to cringe.
Like, if anything, if liberation was on the top of our minds, we shouldn't have cut off their access to do anything humanly possible that you need to do with electricity and then come up with a plan later. I mean, people could be as mad as they want with the communist government, but the reason they're revolting is because they're mad they have no power. They're first and foremost mad they can't feed their children. And the U.S. has created that catastrophe. There's also a lot of layers. The president
imprisons them for speaking out against the regime.
Planning to publish your book? You could reach 3 billion more readers. If you've
we can
over yes, we can go over to every single country and tell them we want them to run more like America, but then just say that your tactic as president is to be involved in every single country's politics, because that's what the president would like to do.
That running things more like America would be a good thing for the vast.
We're going to talk about Joy Reid later, and we'll get into that whole conversation. But
He's over here saying, oh, well, they should run things more like America. Cuba isn't America. Venezuela isn't America, right? And look at the face on this little pompous prick, right? These people, they'll tell you to their blue in the face, no, we're not the world's police. They believe in freedom of speech, freedom of expression, unless you're a communist. If you believe in freedom of expression, then I have the freedom to express myself as a communist. You're a commie. Yeah, I am. So what's the issue? Now, I'm not. I'm being facetious, right? But like, what's the issue? They don't go around. He doesn't have the same energy for people being Nazis, but he does care about people being communists. Oh, I only care because they're repressing their people. The definition of repression, the action of subduing someone or something by force. Has the U.S. not repressed its own citizens over and over and over? So they love to throw out this word. They're repressing their people. The U.S. has repressed its people multiple times over. The use of force or violence to control a group of people. That's what repression is. Has the U.S. not used violence to control certain demographics in this country? But no, we have to pretend as if the U.S. is just this angelic country and they wouldn't bust a grape at a fruit festival.
To put
It's not really up for debate.
to put a pause in that, the U.S. has an embargo problem. In the 1960s, we put a huge embargo on Cuba. So Trump, again, is saying something out loud that we can't actually activate in practice. Like, we're restricted from American investment in Cuba, just like they are widely restricted from doing anything of seriousness over here. So the president has to undo a lot of the relationship that the way it stands.
A Soviet era relic. We had an embargo against them because they were allies of our enemies, and our enemies wanted to put missiles there and all that kind of thing. That doesn't need to be the case now. I'm not for that. I'm for greater economic engagement with them.
But again, the plan is always the thing that's missing. I hear that he wants to. Is he just going to throw a Trump Tower over there? Like, what's the actual plan now? What does that look like in practice? I don't want to see a Trump Tower.
He's not.
I don't want to see a Trump Tower.
Parted in a plane.
I wouldn't be surprised. I want to see a Trump Tower on the Gaza Strip. I don't want to see a Trump Tower in Cuba.
Why not?
Because people want to be liberated with their own businesses and their own wealth.
Their own business. What?
Yes, they want to be liberated with their own local businesses, their own resources. Why do we want Trump Tower over there? Why? I don't think.
Did you see his face? Their own businesses. What is that? Hold on, bro. Aren't you supposed to be a capitalist? So here the people are saying, hey, look, they want to have their own investments, right? They want to have Cuban companies invested in Cuba. They don't want American multinational corporations coming over there, running their country and dictating what they need to do and how they need to do it. And here you got Robbie, who is supposed to be a free market capitalist, talking about their own businesses. Well, what is that? Bro, you don't know what business ownership is? Like I said, he's supposed to be a libertarian, a small government. See, whenever they talk about any issue that pertains to foundational Black Americans and our upward mobility and enrichment, it's like, you guys need to stop begging the government. Well, why do you want the government to do anything for you? I believe in small government. That's just what they say, right? What is small government about invading other countries and sending U.S. military troops? Suddenly, no one is talking about shrinking the government now and shrinking government control now. They always like to talk about, you want Big Daddy government to take care of you. Isn't Big Daddy government taking care of these oligarchs, right? Isn't Big Daddy government taking care of Israel? Yeah, if Big Daddy government can take care of Israel, a foreign nation and entity, yeah, I do want them to take care of American citizens.
In their own wealth.
Their own business. What?
Yes, they want to be liberated with their own local businesses, their own resources. Why do we want?
And shout out Ronnie Q, what it do in building. Now, I won't be here for a long time, but a strong time. So I will have to shut this down soon. But if y'all feeling the stream, I will come back later and hit y'all with a double header.
Why do we want Trump Tower over there? Why? I don't think that people who live in Gaza would like to see Trump Tower over there. I think that people would like to rebuild the houses that they love, or want to be liberated with their own businesses and their own wealth.
Their
I know
own
that Trump-
business. What?
Yes, they want to
What
be
is
liberated
that?
with their own local businesses, their own resources.
Oh,
Why do we want?
local
Why do we want Trump Tower over there? Why? I don't think that people who live in Gaza would like to see Trump Tower over there. I think that people would like to rebuild the houses
People in
that they
China
love.
want McDonald's? Do we not want Panda Express or whatever? I know
We're not talking about China. We're not talking about China. That's a
So they're bombing Cuba, right? They're trying to take over Cuba, destabilize Cuba. And he's saying, what? People don't want McDonald's or Panda Express? He's not talking about a mom and pop shop. No, if I was Cuban, I wouldn't want a fucking Panda Express over there. I would want a Cubano Express over there, right? Not to say that there won't be Panda Expresses or Burger Kings or things like that over there. But no, when you're Cuban, or if you're of any nationality and ethnicity, and you want to build up your community, you want to combine and pool resources, that will require some innovation. Creating a Panda Express from some US investor is not really helping Cuba, right? So this dude Robbie is kind of all over the place. And like I said, these people, they try to let the free market dictate anything. If a country wants to build itself back up, it's like, no, you guys don't need to build yourself up. You need American businesses to come over there. So we'll bring over Walmart, Target, and McDonald's. Surely that will help your country, right? And you won't own any of the means of production, and we won't pay you American wages, right? Robbie wants all these places to be like America, but he doesn't want them to get paid American wages. He wants them to get paid indentured servant, third world country wages, so that things could be cheaper here, right? This is the libertarian lunatic logic for you.
like to see Trump Tower over there. I think that people would like to rebuild the houses that they love.
Want McDonald's? Do we not want Panda Express or whatever? I know
We're not talking about China. We're not talking about China. That's a crazy
cultural
reference.
appropriation nonsense.
What are you talking
We'd love to have Italian restaurants here, and they love to have our
Everything is
restaurants
about
there,
money for the president, and he's already invested in foreign soil.
So he's saying, oh, we love to have Italian restaurants here. Yeah, Italian people are not going around smacking people upside the head. They're not being authoritarian, right? So, and they always try to revert back to this. Oh, look at the restaurants. People's life doesn't revolve around eating at Panda Express or eating at a restaurant. He's not talking about home ownership. He's not talking about anything building generational wealth. All he's talking about is putting a Panda Express in Cuba. And they should be okay with that. Yeah, we came over here. We did an embargo. We sanctioned and put tariffs on anyone that tried to sell you guys oil. We worked to humiliate and destabilize you. But hey, you might get a Panda Express there. What the fuck is this goofy dude talking about? And these are the high IQs that they put on this channel, right? The mainstream, lamestream dweebs in the media.
Appropriation nonsense. We'd
What are you
love to
talking
have
about?
we'd love to have Italian restaurants here, and they love to have our
Everything is
restaurants
about
there, and-
money for the president, and he's already invested in foreign soil for the majority of his presidency. If he wants to help out nations, the next step is not to try to put his name in another country just because he likes his name on things like the Kennedy Center,
nations that
or like
both have-
checks that go out to kids. He
nations
wants his
that
name on
have-
anything.
No nations that both have McDonald's in them have ever gone to war with each other.
Okay, I'm not going to dispute that because I have no idea how many nations have McDonald's or
The
have.
point is that greater economic engagement and trade and that kind of thing is pro-peace, pro-human rights, pro-democracy.
Okay, right now there's limits in trade, there's limits in banking, so he has to undo and figure out all those
I hope there's
regulations.
Trump towers in every
He has to figure out all those regulations, then let people know how they can do business with Cuba. Right now, he's just saying words that align with no plan, and that's what we've seen in Venezuela, and now we've seen in Iran, and now we're going to see in Cuba, and that's the strategy of that's making up his presidency so far. Say a lot of big words, follow up with a lot of no plan.
Well, there has been follow up. He said, "Make a deal with me." They didn't. He attacked Iran. He attacked. Took out Maduro. You can't say there's no follow through. There's a lot of follow through. If I was a
No, the
dictator
follow-through for
in
the
Cuba
oppressed-
or
the people
wherever
that
else,
were
I
oppressed.
would listen to Trump so I don't get killed.
How? So, okay, so
Maybe
he's
get
just
the
running around
message,
just
people.
killing leaders and then not freeing the people in any way, not helping set up any.
So like Robbie is saying, maybe get the message, people. So he's saying that you need to get the message that if you want to be a communist, that you will be killed. So they want to kill people for just being communists. And then they want to say that, hey, we're not violent. The communist people are not threatening to kill someone just because they're capitalists. Chinese is a communist nation. If we hate communism so bad, why the fuck are we doing business with China? China's our enemy, but everything in your house probably says made from China. Why are we allowing our alleged enemies to make all this stuff? China is our enemy, and there's the China virus. It's the China virus, but where'd you get those masks from? All the masks that people were wearing? Oh, you got them from China. So China had the China virus in the Wuhan lab, but you want to get your mask from the alleged big bad boogeyman China? This doesn't even make any sense, right? China is our enemy, but you let a bunch of Chinese people buy farmland. You don't want the blacks to buy farmland because those are niggers, but you let Chinese foreign nationals buy a bunch of land. There's also a lot of tourism birth where people come over here to visit, pop out a baby and go back home. So their babies are raised and immersed in their culture, but hey, they still have American citizen babies. There was a scandal about a Chinese billionaire who was paying people to have kids. So I think he has like 20 or 30 American citizen kids. You know what I mean? But this whole thing that if you practice communism, then we should come and kill you. But if you practice capitalism, you're okay. Like I said, whose culture is this? They've convinced you that it's a particular demographic that has violence, but you can take Chicago, Oakland, St. Louis, Baltimore, take any of the most dangerous cities where they try to say black on black crime, take all of those cities, combine them, the murder rate for the past 10, 20 years, it won't even be a drop in the bucket of what white Russians are doing to white Ukrainian, slaughtering white people, white on white crime, white on white war to the tune of hundreds of thousands, right? Whose culture is that? You got white, Asiatic, alleged Israelis slaughtering Palestinians and Gazan people, right? To the tune of hundreds of thousands. Like I said, take Baltimore, Oakland, St. Louis, whatever cities, combine them for the past 20 years. It won't be a drop in the bucket to what Israel has done. So who really has the culture of violence? Who raised these people?
Democratic state in these countries, but his care and concern at the beginning to get Americans involved was that he cared about the people on the ground. No, I'm saying he said he cares about the people on the ground being so oppressed. He wants to get involved in Cuba because they deserve to be liberated. He wants to get involved in Venezuela because the people are getting attacked by their own military. He wants to get involved in Iran because people are protesting, getting killed. And now he doesn't care. It's like, oh, I just wanted the oil. I just wanted
Cuba. I can't do it.
Okay, well,
I just can't do it. They're bad people.
The people there aren't bad and they're suffering because
The
of actions.
government, the
Yes,
people.
but the people.
No, the people.
So now he doesn't care what happened to the Cuban government because he said they're bad people. But don't we got a lot of bad people in our government? I think Biden was bad. I think Trump is bad. Marco Rubio is bad. Chuck Schumer is bad. Mitch McConnell is bad. We can go down the list of bad people in the American government, but no one is threatening to take them out. But here you got Robbie, this pompous prick over here saying we should take out the Cuban head of state because of communism. See, these people are super pathetic and super hypocritical. They believe in freedom of expression. I have the freedom to express myself as a communism, a Marxist, a capitalist, a socialist, whatever I prefer. You shouldn't be ridiculed, demeaned, or threatened to be assassinated because of your political ideology. If that's the case, then maybe it was justified for someone to try to take a shot at Trump. Maybe they tried to assassinate Trump because he was a capitalist authoritarian dictator. Based on Robbie's perspective, that would be okay. If it's cool to try to kill a communist for practicing communism, why wouldn't it be cool to theoretically try to kill a capitalist for practicing capitalism? Fair questions to ask, but I do have a hard stop. If y'all feeling the content, I will come back later and do an extended version of this topic amongst others. But I do appreciate y'all. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world. Y'all chose to be here with me, at least momentarily. And for that, I thank you. So I'm going to hit y'all with a quick visual and I'm going to be up out of here. Salute to y'all. And I love y'all.
You ain't know. Let's just be easy. Ay, ay. Let's just be easy. That dude. Be easy. Is that dude? You hear me? You feel me? Ooh. B-Eazy Dat Dude, yeah. B-Eazy. B-Eazy, B-Eazy, he is that dude. Ooh, he is that dude. That dude, B-Eazy, he is the one that you can call so he can get the job done. He about to reign supreme if you thought his run would soon end. He just getting started though, so go ahead and tune in. B-Eazy, B-Eazy, he is that dude. Ooh, 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 he is that dude.
If you feel the vibe, like, share, and subscribe. We growing on this journey. Come and take a ride. If you wanna slide with that dude, be easy. We going